Where do old aeroplanes go when the time comes to retire them from the sky? Almost 1 in 10 of them are flown to ECube Solutions in Wales, one of the world's fastest growing facilities for the recycling and stripping out of old aircraft.
Whatever the customer wants, we'll take off.
Every year, around 60 commercial airliners land at the company's designated airbase, and the lads just can't wait to get their hands on them.
All these planes, and you just get to play with the biggest toy set in the world.
This squadron of high-vis heroes love to get their hands dirty and fly in the face of whatever problems are thrown at them.
Yeah, there's pressure. We cope with it, we thrive on it.
They join forces to take these old airliners to pieces, so their thousands of mechanical components can be sold on to satisfy the growing global demand for refurbished plane parts.
Let's get them off the aircraft.
But it's a race against the clock to take these multi-million-pound planes to pieces before they reach their final destination, the scrapyard.
All these are ready to go now, so we're going to have the demolition boys are going to be coming in, and they're going to start smashing them up.
Join the lads as they battle hostile weather and get to grips with massive machinery.
I see them go down smoother, put it that way.
All to meet deadlines set by bullish buyers.
Money's talking is money. And we're not talking peanuts here, we're talking millions.
Welcome to the world of the plane reclaimers.
So, good job then.
Yeah.
The majority of the planes that touch down at ECube end their journeys at the on-site scrapyard. There, the empty shells of their fuselages are torn to pieces by the T-Rex-like jaws of the monster-sized wrecking machines.
So this is the funeral parlour for these aircraft. Everything of any value to us or the customer has been removed, and it's just tin cans that's left. As a company, we get through a serious amount of tonnage every year, and now the job is nearly done, and bring on the next wave of aircraft.
Before the planes meet this crushing end, they undergo a complete strip-out of any valuable parts that can be refurbished and used on other planes. And that's the fate that awaits the plane that's flying in today. Everyone's at the ready for an Airbus A319. It's en route from the Middle East, but a flight delay means it's running hours behind schedule. And that could be a problem, because the engines on the Airbus have already been bought by another airline that needs them for their own plane. And every hour their plane is engineless and not flying, paying passengers, it's costing them tens of thousands of dollars in lost income. So the pressure's on for head of operations, Bob.
They have high expectations. Once they get off the aircraft, they want everything done immediately. So it's very challenging.
Just want to wait here, Phil.
Bob and wingman Phil will be hoping the force is with them today.
Bob with his lifesaver.
Indeed, space age was a term used when Airbus designed the A319 during the early 70s. The company envisioned a broad family of futuristic airliners with which to compete against Boeing and Douglas, two established US aerospace manufacturers. By the late 80s, it had succeeded, becoming one of the world's most popular aircraft, with the A320 having an eye-watering price tag of just over $100 million. But every plane that comes off the production line has to make a final flight. And that moment has arrived for this Airbus today.
Runway 25, clear to land, surface wind 25, 0 degrees, 14 knots.
And over in the tower, air traffic controller James is in direct communication with her captain. Guiding the plane in, James relays instructions directly to Bob on the runway. With darkness falling, the plane makes a successful touchdown, guided in by Jedi Master Bob. The clock is now ticking to get this plane stripped out and the parts sold on. The first priority is the engines. The lads are already behind schedule because of the flight delay and must now work extra fast to get these multi-million-dollar bits of kit off to their awaiting buyer. But before the sale can go ahead, Bob is supporting a licensed engineer to test the engines and confirm that they're up to scratch.
Request permission to carry out a high-powered engine ground run on an A319. No fire cover required.
Each engine has got to be checked out to a certain percentage of power before they can sell the engines on.
The majority of the reclamation value of a plane sits in its engines, so if they fail the test, it will render the plane effectively worthless.
Got one engine now at full power.
The noise is deafening, over 140 decibels, enough to rupture your eardrums.
Yeah, too loud, really. It's so dangerous around them when they're running like that on the ground. You don't want to be anywhere near them. Especially near the intakes, it'll just suck you straight in there and ruin your day, really.
What we're doing now, we've asked for a printout of the engine parameters.
If all be well, they'll print out the results from the onboard computers and they'll go away to the potential buyers then. They need to know whether the engines are still capable of their full power before they sell them.
That was good. Very good.
There we go, job done. Let's get them off the aircraft.
The engines have passed the test with flying colours, but they still need to be removed first thing in the morning to get them to their new owner. But there's still one important job to be done before the lads can shut up shop for the night, and you need a strong stomach for it.
When you arrive, what we tend to do is sort of clear the galley if there's any fresh food on it, because if you don't take that off, you come in 2 or 3 weeks later, especially in the summer, and you don't want to be coming in there then. Oh, look at that, dragon fruit. Best before tomorrow. Oh, jeez. A load of mouldy, horrible food, and the smell is horrendous.
As dawn breaks over the airbase, one of ECube's owners, Mike Corn, is walking the lot, inspecting the aircraft that are on site for dismantling. But even though all of the planes are at the end of their life, there is one word not to be used in front of Mike.
Definitely not a scrapyard. That can be an understandable misunderstanding of what we do. These aircraft are disassembled in accordance with all the standard procedures. When the word scrapyard is used, one assumes it's rather agricultural. We've actually coined disassembly as our standard description of what we do, which is an accurate description. It is anything but a scrapyard.
Proving Mike's words ring true, the lads are hard at work on the Airbus that landed last night. The engines are always the first things that get removed and sold on, as they're the most valuable part of an aeroplane. And another airline is waiting to repatriate these engines to their own aircraft, and they've signed a cheque for a whopping $12 million for the privilege. But the late arrival of the plane last night has meant the engines are coming off a day later than anticipated. So the pressure's on to get them shipped to their new owner. The first task before removal is to drain the engines of their oil. But, befitting a multi-million-pound piece of engineering, that's not as simple as a trip to a garage with a car. Just as well, Master Technician Khalil is on hand to do the job.
The plan this morning is to drain the engines before removal. You never know what's going to happen. It's always a different engine. This one's a different one to what I usually do. And it's one of the first ones I've done of this type. So let's just hope everything goes to plan.
Got to find out how to get the oil out first.
Khalil can usually do this task in his sleep, but his day is turning into a nightmare as he can't locate the sump cap.
Usually there's a plug at the bottom of the tank, but this tank doesn't seem to have one.
Not to be beaten, help is at hand.
I've got this app which kind of shows me for different engines. It's better than having paper.
But the app isn't providing the answers.
It's not happening.
So Khalil ditches it and goes back to looking for the sump the old-fashioned way. He needs to locate the elusive oil sump fast, or he might get into a spot of bother with Sam.
It's oil scavenge. It's that.
The engine oil needs to be drained so that the new owner can replace it with their own certified fluid. But Khalil is still struggling, and Sam's onto him.
I don't know what Khalil's doing over there. He's messing about with the engine oil. He needs to get a bit of a wiggle on, really, because we've got customers waiting for these engines to come off. So I'll have to go and kick him up the bum in a minute.
But just as Sam rocks up, Khalil finds the sump. Hurrah!
Sam does know his stuff, and even when I get stuck or I'm in trouble with something, I'll just go ask Sam and he'll help me out or he'll tell me what to do.
All right, let's do this.
Khalil now needs to hitch a trailer to the tug so the oil bucket can be towed away.
I'll give him a wide berth here.
But he's not the best driver. A bit of banter eases the pressure, and it also helps the lads form close bonds. Good for watching each other's backs on the job.
Oops. Initially, you think, oh, Sam's a tough guy, like, you don't want to be on the wrong side of him. But then when you get to know him, then you know he's just like the rest of us.
This is the worst bit, turning them.
Under Sam's trusty tutelage, Khalil is really learning his trade.
He messes around, he has a bit of a laugh.
It's all hard work with a daily dose of humour.
Sorted. Got it where I wanted to be. That'll do.
With the engines drained of their oil, the lads are geared up for their removal. Each one of these magnificent beasts is handmade, with over 5,000 sweat and toil man-hours put in to make each of them. They have a resale value of over $6 million apiece, and removing them is a nerve-wracking precision job.
Probably the worst part of taking an engine off is actually the lowering of the engine. Getting it all set up and disconnecting it's no problem at all. When you're lowering it, you gotta have eyes all around, make sure you haven't missed a stupid pipe or a plug or something. So, yeah, it can be a bit nervy to start with.
These big, beautiful babies have their own specially engineered cradles made for them, so they can be locked in safely for transportation. With the stands manoeuvred into place, the removal of the cradles is an exacting job. One false move could lead to an extremely costly mistake.
Hold on, whoa, stop at the back. Hold on a minute. Get the front stand first. I couldn't quote you what the bill would be. I mean, if you drop an engine, God forbid, it would be a lot of money if you dropped one. A lot of money. It could be the finish of the company. I don't think the insurance would cover that sort of price. Get your bubble settled first before you start loading it. OK, can we have some quiet, please? Right, front winches only. Give 2 clicks each. Sometimes there's too much talking going on here. You tend to find a lot of the time doing these, you get too many people shouting out. If we're lowering an engine, it should be one voice heard giving instructions when we're lowering. If there's a problem, then there's a shout of stop or wait or what have you. 2 more clicks. But if you get too many people shouting out and out, it gets confusing. You know, it's just one voice is heard.
With concentration at the max, the moment of truth arrives as the engine begins disengaging from the aircraft. And the teamwork pays off as the multi-million-dollar baby is successfully lowered into her cradle. The engines are the first part of a plane that can be reused, and despite the aviation industry having a reputation for being one of the most unenvironmentally friendly in the world, it may come as a surprise to learn just how much of an old aeroplane has an afterlife.
We quite confidently say that 90% plus of the weight of the aircraft that arrives at our facility is either reused or recycled. So I think certainly from that statistic, you would say that we actually have a good environmental performance. What we guarantee to our customers is that with a narrow-bodied aircraft, like the one just across the way there, it will be completely disassembled, the full manifest of data, of part numbers and serial numbers, completely packaged, ready for loading on trucks in no more than 5 weeks.
And that's exactly what happened to the Airbus's engines. They passed their rigorous tests with flying colours and were both purchased by their new owner for a mighty total of $12 million. Whilst the engines themselves may have gone on to fly another day, other parts of a stripped-down plane can go on to have some very surprising new uses of their own. All it takes is a bit of imagination and design flair, and parts of an aircraft can turn up where you'd least expect them, including in your living room.
My name's Ben Tucker. I'm the co-founder of Plane Industries.
Well, there's some windows we've got in here
and we turn old aircraft parts into kind of high-end luxury furniture.
Ben doesn't see old aircraft, just endless creative opportunities.
We turn old jumbo jet wheels into coffee tables. We've done everything from conference tables down to cufflinks from bolts. So we've kind of used lots of different parts of planes to make a number of different products.
There's a ceiling panels they were using and put lights in where the windows would be.
Yeah.
Andrew is ECube's head of customer services, and one of his roles is to find new and innovative ways to recycle parts of the plane that were otherwise destined for the crusher.
Ben typically uses the materials that nobody else has interest in. It is nice to see the rest of the fuselage used for something rather than just being smashed up into tin cans. So they're the Boeing windows.
Yes.
Today, Ben is on the hunt for various pieces of plane parts to turn into his fantastic bespoke furnishings. He never knows what he's going to find at ECube. It's like an Aladdin's cave for any would-be designer.
This part of the business is a growing part of the business because we never used to do very much of it whatsoever. But as we get more and more aircraft and we've got all these hulls sat here doing nothing, it'd be silly not to try and maximise what you can get back out of it and try and recycle even more of it.
It's really good fun to come up here, and I mean, there's a lot of planes up here at the moment, so, you know, it's kind of eyes are wandering all the time. It's always interesting to come and see, because no matter how many times you've been here, these things, when they're in the flesh, are still pretty overwhelming. We'll send them down. Yeah, it wouldn't be too much, would it? No, possibly. I found what I was looking for today. There's kind of copious amounts up here to choose from, which is really good. Bit of a struggle to get it all in the van, but once back at the workshop, we'll unload them, and we'll be starting on them next week.
Amongst his haul today is something from the Airbus that caught Ben's eye. Find out later what he intends to work wonders on. As the sun rises over the yard, the lads get ready to tear down the Airbus that came in from the Middle East. But first, they have a ruddy problem to attend to.
So this Airbus has had its engines removed, ready for the teardown. But in order to start the teardown, we need to take the rudder off and cut the fin in order to make it the right size to fit in the hangar.
All of the commercial airliners that come through the base are too tall for the hangars, which were built before the Second World War. To get the planes through the hangar doors, the lads have to remove their tail rudders first. Now, that means working at a fair old height, around 40 feet off the ground, to reach the Airbus's tail fin. On hand to do the heavy lifting is a telescopic crane. How the boys love their big toys. And with a boom length of 60 metres, this one's got plenty of stretch for the job in hand. Overseeing this delicate operation today is Mac, who's pulled rank on senior technician Shippy.
So we'll be going up, attaching a crane to the rudder, and then taking it off, basically. It's all prepped, ready to go. It's just a matter of removing the bolts, and it should come off nice, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Shippy, despite being an engineer with over 30 years' experience on the clock, is a novice when it comes to this part of the job, which goes to prove there's always something new to learn in the plane reclaiming trade.
Mac's brilliant. You know, he's got the hang of it. He's done a few of them. He's a good laugh. I like the guy, so it's and that's half the battle. If you can work with somebody and get on with them, it's cool.
Mac, on the other hand, despite his relative youth, is a veteran of dozens of rudder removals and is relishing the chance of putting Shippy through his paces.
Nick hasn't done many rudders before, maybe one or two, so today, because I've done more, I'm going to shadow him, just keep an eye so he can do it himself.
But the weather is trying to throw a spanner in the works, and all eyes are on the windsock. Weather conditions have to be very still for this operation. With the wind not easing, a rethink is required, and the crane is repositioned to a more protected spot.
The thing about flying controls is they're designed to catch the wind. So if there's any wind about, it'll catch it, because they're basically metal sails.
The cherry picker is called in for support to help stabilise the manoeuvre, but young Mac doesn't want to surrender total control to Shippy.
Sorry, I was falling over. Go on, carry on. Oh, I won't touch now. I was driving, is it?
With the wind speed rising, it's imperative they get the operation completed as quickly and safely as possible.
Strict orders. They want it off by 12. Yeah, everything.
main reasons why we use a cherry vicker is because that it's a small bucket. It goes above the crown of the aircraft without touching it, and it's it's the only bit of kit you can use. So it's always a little bit trepidatious, and then as soon as it goes, and it's like a big sigh of relief. Once it releases itself and goes away from the aircraft, then you can start breathing again, then.
Taking advantage of the wind easing up, Shippy and Mac move quickly to remove the holding bolts that keep the rudder in place.
All yours, MD! Didn't go too bad, actually. It went all right. No accidents, no damages, so I'm happy. My apprentice done well.
Yeah. He's out of work now.
With the rudder removed, the Airbus can now be moved into the hangar. Most of the planes that come to ECube at the end of their working lives are commercial aircraft, but occasionally they get a very special guest, just like this magnificent RAF Hercules that has served in every conflict since the first Gulf War in 1990.
We've got XV-200, which is one of the last Hercules Kate series aircraft the Air Force had. It's been parted out now, everything's been harvested off it. We've also helped out the museum at Boscombe Down. They've had various bits and pieces of it. And unfortunately, this afternoon, it's going to be its final day here. The smash-up people are here to smash it up. As they came through here, it was very nostalgic, and also, for me, quite sad as well. It's the first aircraft I ever worked on as a young 18-year-old.
As the plane sits in the scrapyard, a band of brothers set about stripping out the final serviceable components and high-value metals, such as tungsten and copper, to be found wired throughout the aircraft. But as this loyal servant to the forces is about to be laid to rest, Bob isn't the only one looking to pay his last respects.
We've got an ex-Air Force pilot coming in today who's had a long association with the Hercules aircraft. In fact, he's flown this particular one on numerous occasions. So he's popping across to have a look before it disappears.
Flying high in the skies en route to the base is a former Royal Air Force captain, Roger Milburn. Travelling from his home in Wiltshire, Roger is a veteran of conflicts dating back to the Falklands War in 1982. He may have retired from the Air Force, but he'll always keep his wings.
I don't know why, I still like getting airborne. The privilege to be able to fly. I've got my waypoint coming up, which is the Southern Bridge, so that's good news.
Join now, long left base for runway 25.
Long left base 25, okay, northwest 7. Hey, let's get a bit of flap down.
Runway 25, 1011, uniform 99.
I think I've got a master ahead of me.
Ex-RAF engineer Bob is on hand to give Roger a warm welcome. And it turns out they really are comrades in arms.
Hi, Roger. I'm Bob Hayden, the operations manager
Bob.
here.
Roger Milburn. Nice to meet you, sir.
Hi, how do you do?
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, no problem. I say I'm ex-Hercules myself, the ground crew.
Oh, right, OK. Well, when was that again?
1978.
That's OK. I first started in 74 at London.
Oh, there we are. An RAF pilot has total respect for his ground crew because, you know, he trusts them, we trust them. Go and have a look and reintroduce you to her.
Well, I would like to see her for one last time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The last thing you want to see is it being broken up.
Yeah. No, I know. I feel the same.
At the end of their lives.
Yeah.
Oh dear, that has been ripped off, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The nose radomer's gone, but I see it's what's left of the ECM, the Durham kit. Of course, the undercarriage is gone there, the base. One of those things that I used to have to walk under while I was flying. Have a look inside there. I see that the flares are still there.
Yeah.
We used those in anger a couple of times in Iraq, I have to say.
Yeah. The flare guns that were once mounted on the plane were part of the Hercules' famed armoury design. They'd fire flares that would act as decoys to send heat-seeking missiles off course from their target.
Yeah, I bet you've had some interesting things in this airframe.
Well, this particular one, I first flew it on training in '74 as a young co-pilot. Then I did some short routes. I've been into Northern Ireland with it and Germany. After the Falklands War, I flew down as the captain all the way down to Mount Pleasant, okay, which included air tanking, using that probe. In my logbook, I've got 12 hours and 15. That's takeoff to landing from Ascension Island down to Mount Pleasant.
OK, Roger, should we go inside and have a look around?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
As Roger and Bob head inside the aircraft for one final nostalgic tour, the Hercules is now only hours away from being sent to the scrapper. Back over in the main hangar, the Airbus A319 is now ready for the task of stripping out many of the valuable and reusable components that can be sold on and refurbished. But the original architects of the structure could not have predicted its current use.
When this hangar was originally built in 1938, the largest aircraft that the architects of the time could envisage was the wartime bombers that were to come. I've been told that the door width of this particular hangar design was the design criteria for the wingspan of the Lancaster. So in this hangar, the aircraft is positioned, one in the North Bay, one in the South. Components are removed by the technicians. As they remove them, they write a handwritten tag, attach that to the component, and the components are placed on trolleys and taken to an area for processing where they'll be logged in and photographed and put through a packaging process.
The A319 is next in line for stripping, and Shippy and the gang are raring to go.
Now's the time, get our hands dirty, crack on, and then just enjoy the teardown. We've took one air conditioning unit out. Dave now will carry on and do this side of the air conditioning unit.
The aluminiums, the steels, the wiring, it's all recycled.
The undercarriage doors here, we'll get these off. It'll just be a matter of knocking the pins out and dropping them onto pallets carefully. We usually take about 12 to 1,300 parts off an aircraft.
While some parts are stripped to order, the majority are sent to the warehouse, where they're distributed to manufacturers across the world who refurbish them for other aeroplanes.
Whatever the customer wants, we'll take off.
A part that one customer wanted off the Airbus wasn't for use on another aeroplane. It was to turn into a piece of bespoke furniture. So which part of the plane captured designer Ben's imagination?
This itself is the front kind of intake from the engine. You know, these pieces we find them absolutely fascinating because they've had tens of millions of pounds worth of development put into them on the research and development side of things and the engineering side. So we're working with an amazingly organic-looking shape to begin with, which from a design perspective is really fun because you're kind of, even though you're limited and you have those constraints, you have like a really beautiful piece of engineering to work with from the offset. And whether you're an aviation enthusiast or not, to look at these in their fully polished form is a really beautiful thing. We only ever design things that we know we can get a number of units over the years. So that's where companies like ECube come in. Once they have been designated as scrap effectively, which in the aircraft world is unserviceable, that's where we come in. If these things can be reused and they have a value on the second-hand market, we can't get our hands on them because of the sheer cost involved of purchasing them. This particular piece being delivered to a customer is going in his lounge, so I would imagine that, you know, it'd be kind of like a real kind of like escape pod. So once you're in and you're comfortable, you're not going to be going anywhere anytime soon, and yeah, it's kind of, you can just escape away from the world, I guess.
And at a cost of $17,000. It's relaxation that comes with a hefty price tag. But Ben can't keep up with demand for his products and sees new ideas at every turn.
I first took inspiration to turn it into a chair when I actually saw I had one of these cowlings in the upright position, in this position, and my dad jumped into it, and I kind of thought that's the natural position it wants to be in anyway, and it would, you know, make for an amazing, amazing chair, albeit a bit of a kind of wacky one, if you would. This is the biggest chair we make, and I think this will be the biggest chair we ever make. I don't really think you can go any bigger with a chair.
Back over in the hangar, the strip down and take out of the Airbus is in full swing, and a special request has come in for one of the windows. Technical crew Di and Tim are on hand to carry out the task.
And would you agree the primary function of this window, sliding window, is for the pilot and his crew possibly to egress the cabin?
That's one reason. The other reason is so they can get their green shield stamps and they can pay for the petrol when they, just before they take off.
I wasn't aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
Tim and Di are one of the longest-serving members of ECube and are a very well-oiled double act.
There needs to be a partnership. There needs to be teamwork. The whole organisation is based on teamwork. But as individuals, I think we have, although I hate to admit it, respect for my senior colleague, senior in terms of miles on the clock.
We can put the rope on that before we actually drop it out.
What knot are you going to use here, Tim?
I'm going to use a clove hitch.
A what?
A clove hitch with 2 hitches.
His specialty is more in the electrical side of the aircraft, whereas mine is on the rigging side, and the term rigger emanates from when we were seafarers. And of course now this is a ship of the sky. So the term, and riggers used to rig the sheets, i.e. the ropes on the ship. Am I right, Tim? Have you heard that expression?
No, I haven't. I think you're talking a lot of...
How are these clove hitches looking? Can I just eyeball them?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Oh, I've never seen a clove hitch like that
before.
No,
in the airport.
Taking a plane apart is a truly hands-on job and literally requires a team of technicians who know the ropes. Because, as in this case, those very ropes are being used to secure the window so that it can be hoisted out and lowered carefully onto a pallet.
Yes, I will. OK, are we ready?
Yep. I've got a little weight here, not a lot. Yep.
You got it?
I have it, I believe, yes. If these 2 hitches hold, we should be fine.
Hey, that's a perfect knot there.
Oh, OK.
You ready?
After trying to tie each other in knots with their humour, it's time to see if Tim's rope trick is enough to do the job.
Although the technique may look a little ad hoc, the end game is successful removal of the windscreen. And
sliding window.
Sliding window. I stand corrected. Thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.
OK, thank you. Give me 5.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.
Wow. Rock on.
This panel weighs almost 80 kilos, the weight of a well-built fellow.
So Tim takes control now. Most of the graft has been done. Tim will adopt the role of the senior manager in this partnership.
I'll be speaking to you later. Oh, I can't quite hear what he's saying, but I don't think it's very good. Right, up. Sometime today.
Can we go back a little bit before I come up?
Come up a little more, please, Nick. Hold it there.
You be careful there, Di. I hate to see anything happen to you.
I reckon it's Waldorf and Statler up there, I do.
Can I help in any way at all?
They're characters from the Muppet Show, in case you're wondering.
But I must applaud my colleague here. Not only made the task safer, but also the productivity improved. And, of course, the likelihood of damage greatly reduced. So I think you deserve a very, well...
Thank you. I don't know what
Sorry,
to say.
my mouth's gone all dry.
So is mine. I'm really quite embarrassed.
Oh.
Thank you, David. I really didn't know you cared.
With the window removed, it's passed on to Shippy, who will see that it's packaged up and shipped out to a waiting customer. And that single window is worth over $6,000. So perhaps the lads' humour was disguising their nerves in case they dropped it.
Nobody got hurt and nothing got damaged. So, good job then.
Yeah.
Stupid idea.
Back out in the scrapyard, the RAF Hercules has long made her final flight and now awaits a great finale. Bob is showing Captain Roger Milburn around, the former captain of the Hercules on many sorties.
OK, Roger, I'll let you go first.
OK.
Back to the office.
Thank you very much. Oh, I see the top bunk's off.
Yeah, the old bunk.
Yeah, that's the top bunk. Well, she's still got a distinctive smell.
Yes, the smell is...
The smell of the Hercules,
yeah,
that's right.
Always the same.
They're wonderful bits of kit. And I've got just so many fond memories of them.
The Hercules is one of the most reliable aircraft of all time, and every pilot has a story about how the plane saw them through tough times.
After the Falklands War, Bob, of course, we started the air bridge up.
Yeah.
And when I flew this one down here, we went to Mount Pleasant. We had a classic. I'm going up, I'm about 18,000 feet in the climb, and my engineer just taps me on the shoulder. He said, I don't want to worry you, Captain, but you see I think it was number 2 engine. And as we went in and out of cloud, the temperature went up and down and up. And I went, that's not very good. So we did a couple of checks on it, and eventually we thought, I think we'll shut this thing down. I think we're going to have to go home. Now, he had a tanker full of fuel ahead of us. We were full of fuel. We had to go back to Ascension. Both of us had to dump. I think he dumped about 25,000, and I must have dumped 20,000 pounds of fuel. Both of us had to turn around and come back, get this engine fixed.
As he looks round the gutted plane, Roger spots something that would make a treasured memento.
The captain here would like this panel here.
And it's just, yeah, it's a, well, that
get it out as
frame,
neat
if
as
you like,
possible.
because that's all the stuff from either side that I would be using.
Yes.
Yeah?
As an instructor, I would be flying from either seat.
I can't see a problem. Yeah?
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it's time to say goodbye to the old girl. XV200, bless you. You've been a great pal to me, and I've flown 125 hours in you, and I wish you all the best in the big sky that you're going to.
Yeah, it was a sad day, you know, because, like I say, I joined the Air Force in 1978. They were the first aircraft I worked on, and it was actually those particular aircraft. I can remember me as a little 17-and-a-half, 18-year-old kid, you know, working on them, and see them just smashed up by a digger is not very nice.
There's the wing going. You can still see the roundel. A bit like a dinosaur. Very sad to see. In a way, it just shows you that the aeroplane's kind of had its life. Getting a bit old, a bit brittle. It's like looking in somebody's body, you know. She's not a live thing, but she's not far off. They have soul, or they used to have soul, let's say. Now it's just bits of metal, I'm afraid. Anyway, that's enough.
The Hercules was the first plane on the list for scrapping today. But now it's time to move on to the big boys of aviation, the commercial airliners. Perry and Chicken are the scrapyard chiefs and are on site to see the final disposal of the fuselages is a smooth operation.
The yard is full up. All these are ready to go now. Everything's been signed off. So we're going to have the demolition boys are going to be coming in, and they're going to start smashing them up.
Perry is a plane lover, but scrapping partner Chicken, not so.
I've never had a love of aircraft. I've always enjoyed fixing them, and I've always enjoyed working on them. but they've never interested me. If I see one in the sky, I have no interest of what it is. I never have, and I never will. I know how to cut it up, and I know how to fix it, and that's all that bothers me.
One big pile, and then get rid of all the scrap. I just cut them up and smash them up. I'm just a hairy-ass welder.
The empty shells of the fuselages are torn to pieces by the T-Rex-like jaws of the monster-sized wrecking machines. The time has come to move on to the Airbus, but just as the scrap lads are about to get started...
Good morning, ECube Solutions. Andrew speaking.
Andrew takes a very interesting call.
Yes, we do. So that was a TV production company looking to buy an A320 fuselage section to make a new series. Don't tell me what series, but it's a new TV series that they need nearly a whole aircraft for. But it's always exciting to do film work and see these things on TV. We've cut them up, we've sent them off, and then what they can do with them then the other end when they set them on fire and plume smoke out of them and all that kind of stuff is quite interesting. So they plan to like fluff the edges a bit to make it look not so clean, really, to sort of mimic a plane crash.
All the bits are in there that were for the cut line. This cut line where we stripped it, all the bits are in there, so they're going to be rebuilding it all back together.
It won't be recognisable once it's on film with all the effects and all the other bits and bobs they're going to be doing.
It's nice to know that something will be put on screen that we've cut up and you can say, yeah, I done that.
The fuselage of the plane has had to be cut into two sections, in theory, to make it more manageable for shipping.
The trailer just to the side of me has turned up now. He's planned to load both fuselage sections on one low loader, which is going to be a bit of a sight to see, really. I think them combined are about 18 metres long each, 5 metres wide, so it's quite an obscure load.
The transportation boys have their massive tape measures out. And they need them because this is a precision job. The measurements need to be spot on. Just a few centimetres out could mean the plane won't fit on the lorry bed.
We've got two sections we have. This is the middle section, the one with the wings on it. Yeah, the wings have got to go as well with it, as well, the wings we've cut off.
A further complication comes in the form of the weight of the load being dangerously close to the crane's capacity.
I estimated this weighs about 7 ton, no, 8 ton, and he said he's good to maybe lift that. So, we'll see.
And of course, now there's the trusty Welsh weather to contend with.
The wind has classically, again, decided to pick up when we want to do a load.
It's a nice day for it. Especially when you're standing, you're on the end of a rope. You don't want the rain coming down. I'm on this rope, only just to guide it in. I'm not doing anything, really. Well, they're trying to move the beds to locate them into the position to drop it down, because it'll be on a free space. There's locators, that's why they're strapping it, and it's just wedged in, it's just a tight fit. That's good. That's good. Oh, nice. I think the boys are happy. They wanted to move it forward a little bit, but I think they're happy. Looks lovely.
With one section on board, it's on to the next. But the wind is picking up, causing strain on the cables as the lads try to steady the fuselage.
Lovely there.
But despite the best efforts of the wind to sway the heavy load, the teamwork pays off with the fuselage safely landed onto the transporter bed. Job done. Having escaped the jaws of the crusher, the fuselage of the Airbus heads off on a low loader for a new life in the limelight.